Okay. For those of you who know me, I don't have to introduce myself. For those who may not know me, I will say my name is Odie Hawkins, and I'm trying to take us through a lifetime of writing, book by book. The last session we had, I introduced you to Margaret Burroughs, who was my savior, and whatever else she was to a whole bunch of other people. She was the person who established the DuSable Museum of African American History. Can you see this?
I see you now. Okay, thank you.
She was a mentor and a teacher, and took up roller skating at 95 or 96, depending on which calendar you check. And her biggest regret is that she didn't learn how to skate backwards. Okay, that was Dr. Margaret Burroughs. I'm taking you through a writing life, book by book, and the understanding behind all of this is strictly commercial. I'm trying to sell 30-some books. Some of them are selling well, others are not. I'm saying I need to sell more books so that I can have a richer lifestyle, to be able to travel far and wide the way I've always liked to do. I'm just almost kidding. I want to take you from one of my most recently published books. The first one of this past year, no, the first one in the upcoming year, in this year, as a matter of fact. Wow, the year's gone so fast. In 2020, the book that will be dropped in the coming month is called, what is it called?
Urban Nomads. Urban Nomads and Other Stories.
Urban Nomads. Let's hear another word from the Peanut Gallery. What's the name of the book?
It's called Urban Nomads and Other Stories.
And Other Stories.
By
Oh,
Odie
just a second.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is, hey, let her through that. My daughter's here.
Okay, fantastic.
Gabrielle Hood. And, okay, yeah, so take a seat. I'm really in luck today. Good to see you. You know what we're doing? Oh, it's cool. Urban Nomads. It'll be out 2020. This one I spoke about 2 sessions ago. It's called Ancestral Meridians.
Mm-hmm.
So I seem to be on a little bit of a roll concerning things that happened then and things that are happening now. So that's where we're going with this. I started telling the story, and I'll make it brief for those who have heard it before. I started talking about what it was like to become a paid writer as a high school student by writing love letters for friends of mine, the guys who wanted to, connect with the cutie pie and in the third row. I did that, and I hate to say it, but I have to confess that I was retired from doing that by a weird thing that happened. Weird thing. There was this young lady, her name was Alice Barlow. Never will forget her. It's the kind of thing that happens when they talk about in Italian novels about being struck by the thunderbolt. Understand, I've been writing love letters for everybody else for 3 years. Never a love letter for myself. And I looked up and she's walking down the hallway and I was just struck. I wanted to get to know her so badly. Meanwhile, my business had to go on, so I'm writing the generic letter for $2, the special letter for $3, the exotic letter for $4, and the outrageous letter for $5. So that was my scale. I wasn't making a boatload of money, but I was making lunch money. Anyway, my buddy comes to me, his name was Eddie. He wanted to get me to write a letter to Lady X. That's what he called her, Lady X. So, okay, where we're at, it's either got to be exotic or outrageous. We determined that it would be outrageous. I won't get into the salacious details of what it means to have an outrageous letter written to a 16-year-old woman, girl, but it was outrageous. And I got the money and let it go at that. And the next thing I know, there's Eddie walking down the hallway with Alice Barlow, my designated heartthrob. I wanted to kick his ass, really, I did.
Naughty.
I couldn't go there. I was amazed that I could be so hurt. You know, after all of the little letters and stuff I had written for other people, and now here I am, I'm grief-stricken because he has stolen somebody from me that I didn't have in the first place.
Yeah.
So
She didn't know.
I decided right on the spot, well, I don't think I need to do this anymore, but I had one or two more letters commissioned for, so I had to do that. While I was doing this, with half my heart in it, I was in Dr. Burroughs' class, and she reached over my shoulder. This is really one of these really salacious notes. I think it was in the exotic category, the $4 category. She reached over, picked the letter out of my hands, read it. I said, oh my God, I'm gonna fail. I mean, I'm going to jail or something. She kept me after class and gave me a nice little talk. I want you to go to the Baptist Institute that was on 51st and 51st and South Parkway then. It's called King Drive now. There was a white woman there named Mrs. Peterson who had a creative writing class. If you don't go, she told me, this lady could be real hard on you. If you don't go, I will fail you. And if I fail you, you'll have to come back for another semester and so forth. So I went. And I didn't get a lot out of it because I was writing about teenage stuff, what it was like to go to the Peps, to the ballroom, to go to the Mambo House, to McKee Fitzhugh's, to all the little joints and dives we went to at that point. And after about 3 months or so, I just dropped out. And she forgave me. Matter of fact, she forgave me to such an extent, she gave me a ream of paper for that summer school vacation, and I wrote my first novel from that. So that was the beginning of a writing life, a paid writing life. I understood what it felt like to receive compensation for telling a lie. And that sort of turned me on. From that point on, I was sort of hooked by being able to do it. Fast forwarding, after a few years of what you do, if you grow up in Chicago without a literary background, I wound up in 1972 here in California with a novel behind me called The Ghetto Sketches. The Ghetto Sketches has been published 2 or 3 times. It's in a larger format. It's in a format this size now. But since so many people have stolen my books, I've given them away, that this is the only copy I have of it. Ghetto Sketches is a story of growing up in the black ghettos of Chicago that takes in the south side, the west side, and the north side, And if there was the east side, you'd be on that side too. Yeah, real authentic ghettos where people, I think somebody made the determination a long time ago that a quarter is someplace you choose to go and live, like the French Quarter or something. But ghettos are places where you're forced to live. That means redlining, that means limited real estate for you. Talk to the people in Harlem, they can tell you something about it.
Give me a pitch on it. Tell me what the Ghetto Sketches is about.
Well, okay.
Good.
Okay, I'll tell you what it's about, okay?
Please, okay.
All right. Here's what it's about.
You forget?
No. I read a book, I saw a play by a Welsh poet named Dylan Thomas. And the play was called Under Milk Wood. And he tells a story about being from a small town in an unpronounceable Welsh name. And what he did was go up one side of the street and down the other in this small village. It occurred to me that I grew up, my early years, I spent about 5 years at one point living on Washburn Avenue on the west side. And I went from Blue Island up Washburn to Racine, crossed over and came back down and went up the other side of the street. And at one point on this particular street, the 1100 block on Washburn Avenue, I knew every house and every little crook and cranny that was on the street. So I decided to do a novel about all of the people on the street, and I did, including two of my favorite characters.
All right. All right.
Bam.
Gay is here. Gay is here. She knows the character. Bam and Baby Jim, who were the neighborhood dope fiends. That's not a pejorative designation. It was what they called themselves. We are professional dope fiends. There was Fergie and Lucille, who were just a hard-working couple trying to get by.
Big Mama? Big Mama?
Big Mama, there's always a Big Mama who need not be big, but she's like the woman who used to sit in the window on the program 222. Helen Martin, who's a friend of mine, incidentally. And she saw everything and she took everything in. There were stock figures, neighborhood characters. At this point in time...
What about Mayflower?
You remember Mayflower?
Yes, very memorable.
Mayflower was a gay man who was not reviled or looked down on. He was just thought of as a guy who liked other men. And he had good straight friends and good gay friends. At one point, he just simply called him Mayflower the sissy.
Okay.
You know, things changed over when people learned how to become homophobic and all of that. But I don't remember that kind of experience, either on the south side or the west side. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you the truth. The south side was outrageous.
I bet it was.
I mean, there's some place you could go to on the south side, like the Kit Kat Lounge. Hey, if you was gay, no, let me put that another way. If you was straight, you'd wind up being gay by the time you got out of that.
Has it changed much?
After 3 of them daiquiris, ooh.
Has it changed much over the years?
I haven't been back lately, but I suspect it has, because the neighborhood became a little rough. It was rough in another way during the time frame we're talking about, but nobody was driving by a corner with an Uzi spraying the corner. It was mainly one-on-one. I hate you, you hate me. Let's take these bicycle chains and whoop each other to death, or pull out our knives and so forth and so on. I could spend a long time with the Ghetto Sketches. As a matter of fact, we'll come back to it.
All right.
Because there's some things I'd like to say about it. at some later point. What I would like to do, if you will pardon me for switching around so quickly,
Okay.
what I'd like to do at this point in time is to bring Zola Salena-Hawkins up to sit beside me. That's you.
That's me, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is. Why are you going backstage? You have to get something
I'm going around.
bring with you.
Yes, coming.
Okay. While you're doing that,
Make a proper entry.
Gabe, what's going on with you?
Well, it's the start of the year. Trying to keep all madness away.
Oh.
No matter how it insists on knocking on my door. Get back.
Yeah.
I am doing well, living, laughing, loving, all that jazz. All that.
Okay, I think that's a good description of what a year should be like.
Probably will write my first novel this year.
This is
Oh,
easy.
did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Oh, you to it? What day is it?
Did I say that?
Yes.
It's 6 o'clock. What day is it? On a Sunday.
Yes.
On the
Okay,
4th.
January the 4th.
We got it.
Okay, all right, I got it
Okay, but
recorded.
remember what I said. It's 2020.
Yes,
And it's no longer just a TV program.
this is true.
It's full vision.
No,
Okay.
full vision.
Going
Okay.
forward.
So you see yourself forward
Yes.
writing. Okay, we're looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
sure
so we
you
can
are.
buy it.
Okay, we'll get to that. Before we talk about this amazing piece of sculpture that your mother gave us, I'd like to ask you, where'd you get your cap?
My husband bought it for me, which is you.
So
Yes. So
we
we're
have
going-
caps alike.
We have caps alike. Definitely.
Hey,
Okay.
let me wear your cap sometime.
Your head's a little bigger than mine, more ways than one.
Okay, we'll
We're
get
gonna
past
leave that
that.
alone.
When she says my head is bigger than, I wonder if you're talking about me in a way. Queen Jewel Gray, who recently passed at 92, Zola's mother. Well, you talk about it because
Well, Queen Jewel was an exceptional woman. Okay, she was a nurse. She helped develop a nursing program in Antigua. A woman who enjoyed her hats and her gloves and her clubs, aka
how many hats did she have?
over 500 hats. Okay.
And I'm asking you, where'd you get your hat from?
Right. Okay, but she wouldn't consider this a hat. This
Oh
is
God!
a cap.
this-
Okay.
Oh, my
She
goodness.
has professional hats, hats you wear at AKA,
Church hats.
Pierians.
Church hats.
Okay, church hats. Okay, definitely. All right, but I like my caps. Okay.
Okay, well, take us back to the figurehead.
Okay, mother traveled to Africa, and according to her, there were times when people were wanting to be generous,
She
And
traveled.
they
What was she? She was in.
helping to establish credentials for hospitals.
She was a professional nurse.
She was a
Head nurse.
Head nurse. She was a head nurse. She worked at University of Maryland, Howard. I can't begin to name the places that mother worked, nor do I know them all. Woman of mystery, I do say, and a woman with lots of tales to tell.
At some point, we have been told we shouldn't wash or clean these figures off because the people who study artifacts and so forth will need to have the DNA come from the dust and so forth and so on. One of the things we've been told already is that they are very valuable, important pieces of work from West Africa. I think this is from Nigeria. And what we're going to be doing over the course of the rest of this month is taking one piece at a time. Right behind us we have a number of other pieces, and we will be showing them off, and we've agreed at some point in time after we've enjoyed them for a while is to allow them to be taken to a Afrocentric museum so that other people can see what we've been seeing in them. It's a pleasure to come and sit in this room.
In the estate planning, yes, when we're gone. Then they can go.
Y'all ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going away no anytime soon.
The last time we talked, you were showing us something about some photos you're taking for urban nomads.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know, this is the cover, which is downtown, and it is the tents that people live in on an everyday basis at night. And you see the comfort of normal buildings, we'll say, that, you know, citizens go to and leave and have refrigerators and so
That's downtown Los Angeles?
That's downtown Los Angeles.
Wow.
Okay, and it's any downtown throughout, you know.
This is true.
Okay, across the world. Okay, I understand in some countries they hide the people and they have only a certain area that they can stay. And these are people who slip through the cracks.
What trips me out is the juxtaposition of these modern buildings and these little tents right in front of all of that. Or you expect somebody to unhitch his camel pretty soon and gallop off somewhere downtown.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to show us all of these,
No.
but could you pick about 3 or 4 to explain?
Well, let's see here. There's bridge living, okay, and periodically people are living on the bridge, and shortly after this picture was taken, where the guy had written email, you know, still has email, he apparently had a fire, and I don't know if he got injured in the fire, but it was all
It burned him out of his bridge home.
Bridge home, for sure.
Now, can you imagine? You're already homeless, then you've been burned out of your homeless shelter.
And there's, you know, just a variety of people, I should say, that have difficult.
Do you have hell in there? I think I saw it somewhere.
Okay, I'm trying to find hell. Okay.
Hell is a photo that, I don't know, it sort of makes me shiver to think about it, because the person is going through something like a living nightmare, which is what I understand a lot of schizophrenic people do go through. It means that their lives are no longer the lives that belong to them. They belong to demons and devils. And,
There's hell. Okay, it was a woman downtown, and the fact that she was still moving, not sure if she was high, was still moving, or had just woken up, but she was on the hard cement, and obviously had not been able to do any hygiene for herself. And there were wrappers, fast food wrappers nearby. And so this is life when you've lost hope.
life is hell.
Life is hell. That's it.
Listen, what we're going to do now is get up out of here
Yeah.
and go do something else.
Okay.
But we'll be back tomorrow.
All right. So glad you could come, Gay.
I'm so glad I could be here.
Thank you so much.
I am so glad I could be here.
All right, then. Looking forward to your novel. What will it be on?
Don't pin it down yet. Let's just leave it as novel.
Okay, we're going to leave it at that.
Let's leave it
All
as
right.
novel.
We're looking forward to it. And thanks everybody else for being here.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ciao.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. I'm going to see y'all here. This is what Dizzy Gillespie used to say at the end of his shows. I'm going to see y'all here. Oh, yes. Thank you, Dr. Burroughs. Thank you, Dr. Burroughs. Thank you, Dr. Burroughs. They were cleaning out my cell when she said, you don't have to do that. You could write, boy.
You could be a writer. You don't have to go the bad way. Okay.
I listened, I heard.
I'm so glad. Well, she's a person you would listen to. Ashe. Ciao.